Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, Laws of the State of New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, forwarding a copy to the local source, the Star Ledger, and the Home News Tribune, and is posting on the Borough website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting was contained on a list of meetings set by resolution on January 3rd, 2024, and as amended by Resolution 2024-99 dated March 6, 2024. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in regard to this meeting. Please stand for the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Karlovic,
Present.
Councilman Boyle,
Here.
Councilman Finestrella, Councilwoman Giordano Paserno. Here. Councilman Morrow, Councilman Scarice,
Here.
Councilman Zimmerman.
Here.
Is there a motion to accept and approve the following minutes of council meeting of July 17, 2024, May 15, 2024 as amended, and June 5th, 2024 as amended?
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Boyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno.
Yes.
Councilman Scarice,
No.
Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay. I just have a few announcements. The National Night Out will be held August 26th in Kenilworth at the municipal parking lot right over here from 6 to 8 p.m. There will be police and fire personnel as well as vehicle and ice cream and a bounce house, and I'm sure some other fun activities will happen. Also, Governor Murphy has announced a transit fare holiday for all customers beginning on August 26th and ending on September 2nd, 2024, which waives fares for all modes of transportation, public transportation in New Jersey Transit Network. I hope everyone that's wanting to travel on the holiday weekend can take advantage of some free transportation. That's always nice. Also, Kenilworth, we will be hosting our annual fireworks. They will be held on the public school campus. We're not having them at Blackwood Park now any longer, so they will be at Harding. I know a lot of people will be happy about that. And that's Tuesday, September 3rd. Refreshments and events will begin at 7 p.m. and fireworks will happen at dusk, somewhere around between 9 and 9:30, I would think. So I hope everyone comes out for some end of summer fun. We'll move on to the finance report, which is Councilman Finestrella's absent. Does anyone have a report for him?
Ken, do you have anything, or?
Okay. Department of Public Works, Councilman Boyle.
Thank you. The new garbage truck has arrived and will be on the road, after the state processes the title and registration. One of the DPW workers who was out on light duty for a few weeks has returned to full duty. If any residents miss the recycling or brush pickup, they can bring the material to the DPW on Fridays. The DPW recently received a check for $1,198 for 24 tons of cardboard. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Department of Public Safety, Councilman Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to tail end what you said too, with the fireworks, we did a walkthrough with the fire chief the other day. Angela was there, and I think Sabino did stop by too. So they are going to actually open bleachers on the home side and allow people to sit in the bleachers this year. And I know Angela is working with Nancy Ganella to secure their porta-johns, and which will be right by the snack stand. So there'll be 4 porta-johns, hopefully on site. We're working with them. Angela's working with them, not we, but Angela, to get those here for the fireworks. And I know the police are going to station people there, and the firemen are going to be on the field. The field will be closed, but the grandstand on the home side, the big bleachers, will be open for spectators. and they moved the fireworks a little bit
That's good.
further north.
Well,
That's-
nice,
that's-
no one has to lug a chair now.
Yeah, if they don't lug a chair, and that was probably 1,000 people, so
Yeah,
it holds a
sure.
lot of people. So it kind of worked out for that, which is great. And also on National Night Out, I know Greg said he was gonna show off the new garbage truck.
Unfortunately, since I won't be here, it won't be there, so we'll show off the fireworks instead.
Okay,
It'll still be showed off, but yes,
thank you.
you're welcome.
So just flowing into the report for the month of July, from Chief Campanelli, the Kennewick Police Department responded to 1,164 calls for service and 177 911 calls. There were a total of 214 hours of overtime for the month, primarily for scheduled patrol overtime, which was 96 hours, and dispatch overtime, which was 72 hours. The Kennewick Police Department completed 186 hours of training for the month, which includes the ARIVE program, firearms, USER, which is Union County Emergency Response Team, and various New Jersey Learn online classes that are now required for police licensing in New Jersey. Kennewick Police Department also issued 218 traffic summonses for the month of July. There were 2 sick days used and no sick occurrence hours, and luckily no on-the-job injury days or on-the-job injuries for July of 2024. The month of July had a various array of calls that the Kennewick Police Department responded to. They received 513 official flock hits for July. That's correct, 513? Wow. That's the camera system that's set up at Boulevard, Michigan. It alerts our desk immediately if a car is,
There's several throughout the borough.
right. So it's a great system, and I'm glad it's paying off. And these cameras are in various locations throughout the borough. The hits are based on license plates having various violations for the registered owner. The system continues to assist officers to help detour actors from committing motor vehicle burglaries, car thefts, and attempts here in Kennewick. Police Department units responded to 27 high-priority flock alerts, and units were able to intercept the suspects before they were able to victimize Kennewick residents. And the high ones are like robbery vehicles, stolen vehicles, not just a suspended license or something along that line. The police department also responded after the fact to an occupied home burglary on North 21st Street. The actor entered the home through a window in the home while the residents were asleep. Thankfully, the residents were not harmed during this crime. Kennewick Police Department units also responded to a house fire on Coolidge Drive, and a 911 call was received, and Kennewick dispatched police units, fire department, mutual aid, and no major injuries were reported as a result of that fire. Chief Campanelli wants to continue to remind our residents to lock their vehicles. Do not leave key fobs or any valuables visible in your vehicle that may tempt an actor to come inside or break in. We encourage our residents to call the police department as soon as possible with any criminal or suspicious behavior, no matter how minor it may seem. So please, if you see something, say something. Please call them, whether it's 911 or 276-1700, and give them a heads up as to what's going on in your neighborhood so that they can get there as soon as possible. I know we're still having some catalytic converter thefts in town. I know they're having them still pretty much everywhere. And so try and be vigilant, park your cars, especially in your driveway, if you can, as close to your house as possible on the street. If you have still Hondas primarily and Acuras,
They vary from Toyotas, Hondas, this one last one I believe was the Volkswagen, so they're just cutting kind of
They
like
target work vans.
work vans,
Yeah.
so nobody's safe.
yeah. And I've actually witnessed it on video. It takes about a minute, not even a minute. And they use a acetylene blowtorch, and they use a sawzall and saw it right off and hit with the torch, and it's off that fast. So it doesn't take a long time, and unfortunately, they have a platinum chip in them, and they're worth money. So that's what people are stealing for that platinum chip. Go ahead, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Planning and zoning, Councilman Morrow, so you will have a report. Okay. Recreation and fire, Councilman Scurries.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I give my reports, a couple questions on the bills. I saw charges from library and rec department stuff. They have their own funds, they just have to list it here, right? If they have their own funds.
They
looks
have
like-
different accounts, I mean, yes.
So, all right, because I was thinking, we're not paying the borough company, because they have their own funds. Correct, just want to clarify that.
Well, I'm not sure. So rec is a trust fund, so it's an account, so the money goes into the, yeah, you said library and
Yeah, I've
rec,
seen
right?
multiple things.
Yeah, so they're different, that's why I wanna, the library, I don't know, Ken, if you wanna.
Yeah, just, some of the library stuff might be grant monies that we agreed to pay for things prior to our changing system with them this year. But other than that, they should be paying most of the
Okay, that was my understanding, all right. Also, Greg, we saw a lot of tree service. There were emergencies, I mean, does the borough cut, we cut our own trees too, right, I guess?
So, when it comes to the trees, we do what we can, and if it requires a truck that can go greater than what Roosevelt Park is allowing us to borrow through the shared service agreement, or if it requires a crane, then we have to go outside and use an outside vendor.
Okay,
And that's what all those charges are for, those are trees beyond our capabilities.
okay, very good, that way someone ever asks me, I can
Yeah.
answer and tell them. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, on to the reports. Starting with the fire department. Month of July. Fire department responded to the following 52 calls: 2 boat fires, 6 carbon monoxide alarms, 2 elevator alarms, 11 fire alarms, 1 fireworks detail, 1 first responder, 1 gas leak, 5 medical assists, lift assists, 10 motor vehicle accidents, 2 orders of gas calls, 3 power telephone cable line, 1 smoke condition, 1 structure fire, 2 transformer fires, 1 train, 2 trees or branches down, 3 waterfall alarms. During these incidents, the fire department traveled 147 miles and utilized 280 man-hours. The fire department rescue squad responded to 43 calls, traveling 362 miles and utilized 175 man-hours. Additional man-hour utilized in the month of July. Administrative, 280. Stipends, 1,426. So total calls, 95. Total miles traveled, 509. Total hours, 2156. And that 1 house fire was on Coolidge Drive. I do believe they have, I understand they have a GoFundMe page, and I think the rec department will be taking some donations for that family. They were not home, they were on vacation at the time. Rec department, summer camp ended Friday, August 16th, and went very well. Rec department will be issuing refunds very soon. We apologize for the delay. Middle school tryouts are coming to a close. The final teams will be decided this Friday coming. Game schedules are in the process of being made. Also, we're going to need a calendar submitted to the clerk. All departments should be doing this because there were meetings that were advertised that they never intended to have. So that led to possible some confusion. And glad to see the fireworks returning to the school, which never really said no in the first place. But definitely, having gone out there, all the concerns with the field is going to be secured. The firemen out there, about 3 of them, right? Extinguishers, just in case there's a misfire, when they're on the field, and open up the bleachers. Now that we moved it back, now we can actually have people in the stands, which would be excellent seating. So all worked out for the better in this case. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Councilman. Education, Health, and Human Services, Councilwoman Giordano Lozaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with the library. They have all of their traditional programs and a couple of extras. So again, I urge everybody to call the library. They still have a lot going on for the remainder of the summer, and you can get a little bit of a heads up for what they're planning for September. The phone number is 908-276-2451. Last Monday was the school board meeting and also the opening and dedication of the new track. So that went really well, and the track looks beautiful. There's a lot going on in our schools. I know that they have secured a new principal for the high school. So it looks like we're gonna start the school year off with the administration in place and ready to go. And they were reporting on a lot of the scores of the children and the upswing for the past 2 years, which is remarkable. So I urge everybody to go on the website and see how great our students are doing, and especially with the teachers giving so much of their time above and beyond the school day to get the kids up to speed, and especially in math and reading. So they're doing a really great job over at Harding and at Brearley. The health department didn't have anything in particular to report, and the seniors have their ice cream social on the 28th. I just want to make sure it is at 1 o'clock. And it is 1 o'clock on Wednesday the 28th. So you should call the senior center, reach out to Shirley, and everybody participate. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor.
You're welcome.
Borough Engineer?
He couldn't be here, he did call me to tell.
Okay.
You know what, one thing I just will note on their behalf, I did distribute, there were some ordinances that were recommended, came through the DEP. So Christian had passed them along, so one is on the agenda, I think everyone saw. There was another one that I distributed today, which came from the attorneys. So that is just, if anyone has any questions about it, I got it out to you soon. If everyone's in agreement, no one has any issues, we can put it on the September meeting for introduction. But they were driven by DEP, and I just wanted to point that out. If we have questions about it, we can raise them to Christian. He just couldn't be here tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Borough CFO?
Thank you, Mayor. You have two resolutions on the agenda tonight dealing with the annual audit. One is to sign the affidavit, that you're signing that, to say a requirement of the law is to say you read the comments and recommendations section of the audit. I will summarize that quickly for you so you can pass that test. We have one comment recommendation this year. It was due to a new part-time employee in the Board of Health, not doing proper turnover slips and recording the receipts and turning them over within 48 hours. So we have talked to that employee, went over the system with them, gave them a reasonable thing. Finance office is checking up with them on a daily basis and to get that corrected. And the other one is the corrective action plan, which is what I just said. So, and that's all I have for tonight.
Borough Attorney?
No report, ma'am.
Thank you. Borough Administrator?
Well, everyone said about the fireworks, so I was glad it was a great meeting. I'm glad everyone was there. It seems like a great plan. I'm glad we're moving forward. The only other thing, well, I'll also point out before you run out the affidavit form, somebody will sign, so you will have to sign that, so I'll give it to you tonight. And then the only other thing is there is a special election on September 18th. And so I just wanted to let you know that the County Board of Elections did reach out to ask if we could house early voting at the rec center. They had a location that dropped out at the last minute, so they reached out. And we will have early voting at the rec center for that special general election on September 18th.
When
So
does the early voting start?
it starts on Sunday, September 8th, and it runs through Monday, September 16th. So we will post it on the website. It will be on the county's website. Just wanted to give everyone a
And
heads
that'll
up.
be at the rec center?
It'll be right at the rec center, which is great, so. That's it, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to accept and approve borough reports?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have one ordinance for final adoption tonight. It's ordinance 2024-12, which was introduced on July 17th, 2024. Ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 141, Parks and Recreation, Article 2, trespassing, Section 141-4.1, restrictions to accommodate programs and/or events outside of stated hours.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing 2024-12?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have anything to say on this ordinance, only? Please come forward, state your name and address. Okay, seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 2024-12?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-12 has been adopted.
Next for council consideration is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
The consent agenda consists of resolutions 2024-169 through 2024-188. These resolutions will be approved by one motion. All items will be recorded individually in full in the minutes. Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
We have two ordinances for introduction tonight. Ordinance 2024-13, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 170, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 4, Openings, Section 170-20, Repair Deposits to include more specific restoration standards and requirements.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2024-13 for introduction?
Motion.
Second.
Roll.
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2024-13 heretofore introduced does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 18th, 2024 at 6:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the Borough Council, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law. Ordinance 2024-14 is an ordinance of the Borough of Kenilworth amending Chapter 120 Land Use, Part 4 Stormwater Control, Article 34 Stormwater Control Standards of the Code of the Borough of Kenilworth, County of Union, State of New Jersey.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2024-14 for introduction?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno?
Yes.
Councilman Scarice?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2024-14 heretofore introduced does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 18, 2024 at 6:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the Borough Council, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law.
Okay, is there a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have anything to say for the good and well-being of Kenilworth? Please come forward and state your name and address.
There's me. I'm just, I can't see.
Come on up.
Hi, I'm Sherry Brennan, 19 North 21st Street. So, this is a continuation of 17 North 21st Street that I've come to speak about twice before. At this point, the owner is no longer there. There's a renter in there. His cars are all gone from town that I can see. Somebody else has his dog. I think he's gone. So I can pretty much assume that he's done fixing the mess that he made. He did not restore it, as the zoning officer had made a deal with him or agreed with him to restore it. There is cracked concrete now already. The concrete's hardly been there, and it's not supposed to be there at all because there was work done without getting a permit. There was work done on it right where that concrete is, where he did not call before he dug, and there is a gas line under there. Now there's concrete that's cracking on top of that. He was asked to put grass in on top of the dirt. There's a couple of blades growing here and there, but it's not a patch of grass. And he drives over it, or drove over it, because I don't think he's around anymore. So, there's missing pieces of it. I would like a citation issued to that owner for what he has done. He did work to increase his driveway without asking for a permit, without getting a permit, and then was asked to restore it and did not. And I have every reason to believe he's done with what he's doing. So it's at this status of like mismatched, ugly stuff. It used to be nice, it's not nice. The appearance of it is affecting the value of my property, which is adjacent. I've done some Oprah requests, I haven't gotten exactly what I wanted yet, so I have another one submitted to see if I get some more information. But I wanted to see in the initial plans where he was permitted to have a driveway, because I believe it's gone over. It's gone over on the other side. Now it's 50 feet of property with parking for 4 cars, so basically it's a parking lot. I cannot believe that that was on the initial permit that was issued back in 1986 or 87. I saw something from the initial Oprah request that I had where his house is additionally 7 feet too wide. He put it 7 feet too close to my house to begin with. So maybe that's why I'm feeling so encroached upon to begin with, is that house is just too big for what you had initially. There was a resolution, right, to put that property, that house on that property, and he built it too big, and you just let it go back then, because it was already started. So it's really close to my house. He also, in this initial Oprah, he was supposed to have allowed me to have driveway material on the easement, and he got rid of all of that. And he got rid of the pin where the property ends, so that's no longer there to reference. He's just gone off and done whatever he wanted without consulting people, and just, it affects my property. I want him issued a citation. I guess Billy Morrow is not here, but I would have told him. I did email him last week these questions, but I didn't hear back, so maybe it's vacation or something.
I believe he's on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor, I could address that to some extent. The governing body can't instruct the zoning officer to issue a citation. If
I'm
it-
asking.
Yeah. Well, what we can do is ask the zoning officer for an update as to the status, and to also provide you an update as a complaining party. I'm at a loss. I don't have these answers. There are some questions or some statements that you made that you seem to think would trigger a summons in and of themselves, and that isn't necessarily the case. For example, you have a complaint that he didn't call to see where to have the utility staked out to underground gas. If he didn't do that, we necessarily wouldn't know that, but we couldn't summons him for that either.
It's scary.
Yeah, I mean, they got nothing ruptured. But that wouldn't be something for our zoning officer to get involved in. There is a state statute that speaks to that obligation, but that isn't for us
Okay.
to deal with. But we could talk to the zoning officer and get an update.
Yeah, it's on the
You
website,
do-
expanding the driveway, you need a permit.
I understand that, and I don't know what the zoning officer looked at. Ultimately, what they concluded, he told me that there, I guess, was some sort of agreement that something was gonna be restored, and it wasn't. So, have you spoken to the zoning officer to follow through with that, or did you try?
I did email a week ago, because the last time that I spoke to Billy Morrow was here, and he said that he and the zoning officer would look into what had been done and see what the updates were and get back to me. So,
And that's 17 North 21st Street.
Yeah, and it's the left side. I think it's A, if it's A and B, it's the left side of a two-family house that's
Oh.
split at the top.
Okay, I mean, we could talk to,
Yeah, it would be Anthony.
I can
the
shed
right
some light on
person,
that,
and
we're not
that's,
talking.
he's the right person. So I know you're going through Billy, but really Anthony is who you need to speak to.
Okay.
He's a shared service, so he's not here full-time. He is in the office and is responsive all the time, I will say that, but he's physically in the office usually 2 days a week, not full days. But I would suggest I could reach out to him for sure and ask him to get in touch with you. You can always reach out to the department or email him, and he responds to his email all the time, I would
Okay,
say.
yeah,
He
it's
is the
summer,
right
so-
person that you need to speak to. I know everybody said it, and Mark, he's the one that'll know what is and isn't
yeah, exactly.
summons worthy, and he'll act, he's the
Agreed.
right person.
Right.
Just understand that there's a limited role for the government here, right? If there was a deviation from the code with respect to getting permits, and that's something that could certainly be summoned. If there's something on your neighbor's property that isn't aesthetic, unless it's in violation of like a maintenance code, then we can't take action. If you have certain easement rights, which I do recall from the past, and that easement clearly indicated that there should be some sort of surface that you can drive upon, and he removed that, that's a private dispute, because it's a private easement, and that's between the parties.
Yeah,
Borough
like
could be-
asphalt that is gone.
Okay, and that may be certainly an issue that you may have adequate remedy or recourse against him, but not for the
Okay.
borough. If he removed the pavement without the permit that was required, that would be an issue for the borough. If he restored it with some things he needed a permit for, that's something that the borough can get involved in, but not if he's interfering with your easement rights.
Okay.
So, again, we definitely will talk to Anthony and we'll,
I can shed, on this, I'm not interrupt you.
okay?
All right, starting first, there is easement, right, because I looked into it. Initially, it was dirt, flowers and so on, which I think would impede the easement. I have a picture here. And then I have another picture that, again, my understanding was your request, and you put cement. And there's a picture of a motorcycle. I think there's a picture you supplied.
Probably, yeah. The motorcycle's gone, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was, so I think the cement was a better easement. I can share these pictures. Want to see them?
You mean was more consistent with the use?
Yeah, I think with the plants and everything there, I don't know, you understand.
You're not gonna drive over it.
So now you have a cement slab, which, and then how far away that is, I don't think it was an impediment. I mean, I don't know how it was parked.
Well,
Wanna
some
see
of
it?
that concrete that he put
No,
down
I
was
don't.
asphalt.
You got it, Rick?
What was that?
Some of that concrete that he put down, he removed my asphalt. So
Well, he was told to remove it,
told by who?
because Anthony wanted him to redeem it, and Anthony said it was fine. He put gravel now, and he said it cost him $5,000 to put the cement in, and then have it, brand new cement removed. And my understanding is Anthony said he's in compliance for restoring it. I personally would like the cement better, but,
Nothing would have been better.
I mean,
Like, the plants were better, because then nobody parks
Yes.
on it. Now it's a parking lot, you can park.
this was initially, and this is the easement, you had the easement right? So that was there initially, and then you put this, and you said, I don't, you know, I usually was providing so much distance, I guess. I measured a parking lot spot to see how much, you know, a normal parking lot gives you, so it looks like there's enough room. But now it's gravel, I don't have a picture.
I have a picture of what it looks like.
Yeah, she is.
All right, so-
That's when I saw it.
I used to
I
park
think it would be
on
better
my
with
own
the cement.
asphalt.
Well, then
With no
it's,
asphalt, I mean, your driveway would.
then it's impervious. There's no, it needs to drain.
Yeah.
There was there's a
And there's a
couple
survey.
more
that's-
inches of asphalt there.
This is where the concrete was put
The area in question is,
Where the plants are, plus some of this, some of my driveway.
Okay, so you got paved surface up there.
Which is what's on the easement.
yeah, so they have to,
That's what I used to park on.
so he didn't touch the back.
Yeah, it used to be on concrete.
Oh, all right.
So it's just, you had access to the whole driveway. Do you have a front picture of your driveway?
There's,
That is.
looks like a block is here.
Yeah, but maybe.
So I guess the question
Yeah,
is
no,
how
it's
much-
cut, see? Here,
Yeah.
it's cutting. Did this pavement go straight back, or is this
Yes.
plan
It went straight.
the jut out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
Well,
see.
it went here, you know, it's only a couple of inches, but that's all it needed to park it, so. It was driveway out here, then now it's the garden.
If he ended up cutting into your driveway on your property,
It's
Or-
not my property.
or if
it's
he
my
cut
property, it's the
away the pavement on his property that were related to your easement rights, that's a private dispute.
easement. Okay,
That's a private dispute.
all right.
But if he violated the code and did things without a permit that he should have had, that's something that the borough can properly act.
So can you, yeah, I'd have to somehow ask the code too, can you park 4 cars across 50 feet and still be in compliance with the zone that we live in?
I don't think there's any limit. I haven't taken a look at the zoning code to answer your question specific, but I do a lot of zoning work. And I don't think I've ever come across an ordinance that said that you're limited as to the number of cars you can park in your driveway. Usually you can park as many cars as you fit.
Yeah, it wasn't a driveway, though, it was a garden, and so now it's a driveway, just changed it.
Did you ask him to remove the plants?
No.
So, you don't like the gravel? I mean,
No, it's not even gravel,
It's just,
it's like
not,
base material.
not to belabor the point, right, but depending on the verbiage of your easement, if it was for any use at all, and it was exclusive to you,
Yes, it is.
then interfering with planting that you did could theoretically be a violation of that. If the easement was for egress and ingress, then, that's coming in and out, then the paved portion of your driveway would be what you're entitled to, but perhaps a plant has nothing to do with that. So depending on the verbiage, the ability to put plants there may not be protected. Also, you have to be very mindful of the distance. Where does that easement end? Where does that easement end? Did it end at the paved portion? Is it possible?
Yeah, it's
it
all
was
in the
taken?
details of the easement.
Yeah, but again, that comes
It's a
down to
private-
private
Okay.
easement rights, and you really need to get a private
Okay.
attorney for that.
does she need a survey of her own property?
I have,
It would certainly start with a survey, and it would also involve a title search and survey of your neighbor's property to see what easement of yours is recorded on his title, and that's what you have to do.
okay.
So, if I understand correctly, I guess it was back in '86, in order to build, I guess, that size house, you had to grant an easement to
Yes.
the neighbor?
I don't know what they were, Jim.
That's what it says, yeah.
So she has, and what does the easement mean exactly? Is that
It's
just room
perpetual, it's, yeah,
to
it's
like-
illegal.
So she can open the door and not be able to get out of the car?
I didn't see it, so I don't.
Oh, okay, so.
Yeah, it says
it's
to
our-
allow me to have off-road parking still, because by putting that house there, it stopped me from having a wide enough. I mean, I have a Honda Accord, purposely small car, so I can fit in. Can't park a big full-size vehicle there.
Yes, it's like.
If I could say too about the brand new track, different topic, where are the signs that say no bikes on it? Because I've already seen kids riding bikes on it, so it's gonna get ruined real quick. We need some signs like that.
That would be the Board of Education.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
You could reach out to Vincent Canello. His email is on there.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
managing
From
the
board.
project, so I would say reach out to him.
Okay. Personally, I have kids that are in the elementary school, and I know that she had said, oh, it's such a wonderful school, and the scores are going up. I withdrew my kids, and we're gonna go to private school, because my kids are not performing on grade level. We've gone to summer school. I've asked multiple times for, how did they do in summer school? What did they do in summer school? What could you point out that they still need help with based on the 5 weeks that they spent there? I hear nothing from anybody, from the principal to the vice principal to the teachers. I have no idea what went on in summer school for 5 weeks.
You should go to the board meetings, they have.
I do, I go there, they probably don't want to hear from me there either.
I haven't seen you there, and I think
Yeah,
that
I've
that would
been
be the
3 times.
perfect spot for you to address it, because the
Yeah.
teachers, the students are there reporting on what's going on in the schools, and not just from the staff members. They do have, student, representative that gives a report on every, school board meeting. And, you know, it's unfortunate your kids are not
Yeah, that-
excelling
Yeah, they're not.
what's provided.
And as well, we have a lot of bullying problems that are directed towards my children as well. And, you know, I've tried up and down from the vice principal to the principal to the superintendent to all the other support people around. It's not been resolved. So we're leaving. I can't move. I wish I could move, but we're gonna go to private school.
Yeah.
So
That's
not everybody has
unfortunate.
the cheeriest, happiest things to say about that.
Well, nobody ever has, nobody is, you're never gonna get a collective agreement in one direction. But, and it's unfortunate that you're
Yeah, it's
having that
terrible.
experience. But I do find going to the meetings, has enlightened me quite a bit since January, so I would just suggest,
Two before January and one afterwards.
yeah. That's unfortunate.
One thing, Ralph is on vacation. I went to speak with him. He's not, so he'll be back. I don't think he's house sitting. I don't
What
think
are you
he's.
talking about?
Oh, that's the owner.
Right,
You're back to that other topic.
Oh,
That's
so
the
he
owner.
says-
I was gonna say,
My understanding is that-
Board of
So
Education.
No, I went back. So I was just sitting here thinking, I wanted to speak with him, and he's on vacation. I guess he's out of the country.
Yeah, it's not here.
So
He's in
he'll be
Italy.
back. So I don't think it's permanently rented.
Saw that on Facebook.
I was gonna steal space.
Right to the building department.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, if
And
the
anything
building
involved.
department need to get in touch with him, eventually.
Yeah,
Right now, you may not get it.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You wouldn't have a meeting without me.
Mary?
It's been a long time. My name is Mary Mickich. I live at 725 Marmon Avenue. First of all, I want to thank you all for I'm way back, all the things we did for the holidays last year. Because without the help here, it wouldn't all get done. For anyone that doesn't know, I am the head of social concerns in St. Teresa's. I've been in it 45 years, I've run it for 25.
I have a question to ask you, Mary. So I perform weddings here, and I perform weddings almost every single council meeting prior, sometimes 2 and 3. And my requirement is that they give $200 to the food pantry at St. Teresa's. I want to make sure that it's getting there.
Well, we've gotten, I think, twice,
Well, that's a problem.
yeah.
That's a problem.
And I really appreciate that money because that money goes for all the odds and ends that we don't get, that we go out and buy. We buy all the condiments and all those type of things. I wanted to just say, our pantry was closed for a little over 2 weeks this summer because an Eagle Scout redone the whole pantry. It's all been remodeled, so we are low in food, and we could use gift cards and so forth. We do over 200 people a month. You would be surprised how many people come with children. And we just got a very good thing through somebody in town. We got bars, so a lot of bars will be going out, the little bars,
Granola bars?
like a granola bar.
Okay.
And some of them we have, or we're passing on to the VFW. We also, what do you call it? We barter. We barter with other churches, not just Catholic churches. No, but I mean, we give to the Methodists, we give to the, you know, and different ones else, like, they get stuff that, they can't use, we get stuff we can't use. And like, we'll get a 10-pound bag of rice. We can't open it and give out people bags of rice. But St. John's and Newark can. They'll give us 10 bags of 1-pound rice and noodles and so forth. So we do barter with different churches, but anyone, any organization that could donate to us is deeply appreciated, because as I said, these are people that are in need. And as the saying goes, and I wish I could get into the seniors, because I'm not one yet. I wish I could get into the seniors in the respect of that the seniors, they would take. They are what you call the proud poor. They, regardless how we try, how I've tried to donate, you know, saying, you don't, if you just like tell the head one, we'll drop the food off here, we'll drop it off at your house. Oh no, I don't need any. And yet, I know some of these people that are in deep need. If perchance you know someone, we can always have a grandson, the neighbor next door, whatever, come and get food for them. But as I said, the seniors are the proud poor. But I know, because I grew up in that age group, you always did for yourself. So anyone that can help, we are low in food right now, so any donations, you can drop them off at the rec, you can drop them off at St. Teresa's Church, and on Sundays in the vestibule. I deeply appreciate gift cards. If you're getting gift cards, $10, $10 ones. Cash, as I said, then we go to places like Lidl's, and every so often they have sales on ketchup, mustard. Like, believe it or not, we get salt for 44 cents there. The other thing I would like to say, this has nothing to do with thanking people and so forth. I am also, in my spare time, a committee person for 30 years. And I'm a committee person in the 3rd. People over there are not happy with the thoughts of Dunkin' Donuts going into having a drive-through. Those people on Kingston Avenue right now have the post office parking on Kingston. They have other cars, they can't park themselves. And when you say they're gonna build on top of those, they're gonna build a building, you know, take the building and take it down and put garages underneath. There's not one place that I know that a house that has a one car. Everybody has a couple of cars. But where are those cars gonna go? The traffic on the boulevard will be more heavier. That driving through, there's gonna be more accidents. So
Mary, you should bring these concerns to the planning board.
Right.
yeah, I know, but I just wanted it to be let known here that, you know, the people there are against it.
You know,
Their
a couple of
meetings are televised also, they're recorded, so anything that's said at a planning board meeting is also viewed by the residents, just
Oh.
like here.
Okay, thank
You
you.
know, a couple of years ago, we had, I'm sure quite a few of us will remember, we had that food stock We had a competition with Roselle Park, who was going to,
Oh, no.
which we won, by the way, I just
No,
want to
no.
point out.
It
We
was,
collected
it
the
was
food.
with Mountainside,
Roselle Park 2, right?
no,
Food stop?
Mountainside, the, whatever the Catholic church is up there.
Well, this was in the borough, we had it with the, between the borough, we had, it was called Food Stock between the two boroughs.
Yeah,
And we collected money, collected food.
yeah, we
So I think
collected-
it's time we should organize that again.
That
Can
would
we
be,
do that?
that would be
Organize that
wonderful.
again, and we could have a food drop-off here at Borough Hall, that's what we did, down in the hallway downstairs. And I have a picture of that, we had a lot of food we
Is
collected.
it possible to incorporate,
It's kind of great national night out, everybody bring a can.
Well, you know what, maybe we can
We
start
for the
that.
fireworks.
Can we do that for the fireworks?
Fireworks.
Put it out there, everyone bring a can, or of something to donate to the food pantry?
And maybe we could set up a table there, so if people come with gift cards, if you're not able to be there, somebody else can receive the gift cards and, get them over to the food pantry with whatever.
Yes, as I said, anything would be
Okay.
deeply, deeply appreciated.
Can we put that on the flyer? We'll take, food pantry donations at the fireworks.
Yeah.
We could possibly get a lot of food if everyone brings something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Let's do
right
something
now, we
right
need
now.
peanut butter jelly, sauces,
Deodorant.
Toiletries as well.
toiletries.
Okay.
All
You
right.
know, just put
Yeah.
it out
Granola
there,
bar.
it's low, the food pantry is
Yeah.
low on supplies, and we need.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could take them, that night. I don't know if it's,
I think we can do a national night out too, right?
yeah.
Chief,
I don't see why not at this point, it is only a
just
couple
add it
days
to the
away. so-
flyer, ask people to
I mean,
bring.
we'll just update, our, postings on the social
Well,
media.
that would be great, yeah.
And, we'll try to set up a little area, we're open, it's from 6 to 8, I believe the hours are, and if whoever comes, bring something. We always give to social concerns, so
Right.
we're always
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
The police department and the PBA, so we are.
oh, no, the trust me, the PBA has been unbelievable to me.
Yes, very good, I know.
Yeah.
I have no problem adding that to our.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we're gonna work on it.
Thank you so much. The only other thing I ask is I walk, you know, I'm having a hard time walking, I was very sick. I walked the dog down Leicester Terrace. The weeds are this high, the bugs are biting like crazy, all along the fence, that they haven't been cut in so long. Is it possible to have them trimmed?
I believe that's private property.
Well, it was cut once before by us.
Yeah, but they.
Who owns the property? Do we know?
The bank or whatever.
It's the bank,
car
yeah.
wash.
Mr. Keller owns the
Yeah,
property.
it's-
Car
it's-
wash.
everything is-
Gary Christatello owns the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, send the zoning officer over
There you
there,
I
go.
mean,
code enforcement.
no, I'm just saying, they're really, it's not just a little bit, they're out into the
Well,
road.
they have to take care of that property.
Yeah, he usually does, he cuts it down, he'll put
But it's
the
been
mulch
so
down,
long,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. I know you missed me.
Of course we miss you.
Thank you.
We're glad you're back.
Herb Edge, 725 Monmouth Avenue, Kenwood, of course. I've been here a while, but this may not be the right forum to express my opinion. But, and Mary had mentioned a little bit about the Dunkin' Donut expansion. I just want to go on record that I am opposed to the Dunkin' Donut expansion as a drive-through. It's going to change the character of the town. And I'm also opposed on the rezoning of the property for residential use rather than commercial use. We've been talking to some people on Clinton and Kingston, and they're very upset.
Or they need to go, this opinion, Needs to go to the
Excuse me?
planning board.
I can't hear you.
The planning board.
I realize that this is not the forum, okay? This is not the forum, but
We're not.
I want it
we're not
on
voting
record.
that
I want to be on record that I'm opposed to rezoning and the expansion of the Dunkin' Donuts. Okay? I understand there's going to be a planning board hearing. I got to bring myself up to date on the project. I don't know enough about it. I was remiss. I should have attended the planning board meeting, but I couldn't. We were away.
When is the next planning board
I'll
meeting?
figure it out.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
September 12th.
September what?
I think you just got.
He's also hard of hearing.
No, September 12th.
I was told it was changed.
I believe it was rescheduled, I don't know why, I don't handle it, I just saw it for the 11th.
Wednesday.
Yes. My understanding, it is, right, Mike? I thought it was rescheduled.
Oh, okay, you know what, you're right. I
Yeah,
don't remember that.
we were worried about the 9/11 ceremony, so we're kind of like doing it in concert
Right,
with
right.
them.
Yes.
So,
I think it's worth noting, we didn't pass any zoning ordinance
No.
recently, so I mean, perhaps it's a use variance, which would be before
Yeah, it is.
The board,
a use
not-
variance.
it wasn't rezoning that this board
Right.
would roll.
I was at the planning board meeting, I can give you some information on that. What they plan on doing is bulldozing all the existing buildings and make the Dunkin' Donuts will probably be smaller. There won't be any really tables on the inside anymore. And it will hold 12 cars in queue, supposed to have a double line, so we're, to the planning board's credit, they will be doing a secondary study, traffic study to see how it would affect the traffic. Obviously, the initial one, they said it would be fine, but they're doing another independent one. Next to it, where the empty buildings have been, the old chemical, they're gonna knock that down, they wanna build an apartment building, 7 units total.
7 units,
Yes, that's their proposal.
a 3-story building.
Yeah, it'll be parking and then it's 2 levels.
Parking will be underneath.
Yeah, the parking will be underneath. So that was the proposal. They haven't, they're still, I guess, contemplating that, waiting for a traffic study. But that's what they're proposing so far.
And what is it zoned, what's that area zoned for?
Yeah, that's, I believe that's commercial.
Commercial, right?
Yeah.
No, because they would have had to.
Definitely not residential, and that's why they
They
have to get permission.
rezone it to residential.
They have to get permission from the planning board.
Yeah.
That could grant them a variance to use it, but it hasn't been done yet.
Well, I live close to Dunkin' Donuts, okay?
Do you
and
know for
I-
sure how that property is zoned? I'm not 100% sure that that's.
It's definitely not
correct.
residential.
I don't know, I mean, just because it's not residential now, I agree with you, but it may not be zoned solely commercial. It may not be, I'm not sure. Yeah, mixed use, it could have, so I just want to give the right information, and if you don't know 100% for sure, I don't think we should say that.
I bet on it though. Sorry. Yeah, well, obviously, I would have to double check that. That was what they were talking about at the meeting, because that's part of what they're asking permission for.
When is the meeting now?
That exact date, I don't know.
I believe it's Thursday the 12th.
No, I know, it's on the board outside, that's why I know.
Yeah.
It was
Maybe
moved
it
up
changed,
September,
maybe it
yes,
was
they are,
conflict.
because when we were talking about it.
I brought it up at the last meeting,
Yes,
yeah, it's gonna be the same
September
day as the 9/11 ceremony.
I don't know.
It was,
I only
it was
know
moved,
Yeah, I
because
do
I saw it on
recall.
there.
it was moved because
we wouldn't have a quorum because of
people
going away. So that's the fire convention.
He's on the planning board.
Oh, there you go.
Three of our members
You
were,
can chime in.
were leaving to go to the fire convention Thursday, and we wouldn't have had a quorum. So we would have had to
So
push
it's
off.
Wednesday, September 11th.
11.
What time, Mike?
Oh, that's
No,
6:30.
we have the 9/11 ceremony.
It's, they're scheduled for the same
Yeah, we
day.
have the 9/11 of.
Oh,
The problem's gonna be is if it
It
rains,
should be 7 o'clock.
the 9/11 ceremony can't be in here if it
I
rains.
don't know where
then-
else, hopefully the weather holds and we can do it outside, because,
If it doesn't, that's gonna be a problem with the planning board that evening.
All right, just a final word. Like I said, I live close by, And I know what the traffic is, and I walk the dog too. If I go up Michigan Avenue on morning, it's backed up all the way down past, Passaic. I can't see how the traffic would change. The pattern wouldn't change with the drive-through. And coming the other way, the traffic is horrendous still. People making the turn onto the boulevard from Michigan Avenue. I don't think it's gonna work. I just want to go on record. Thank you.
I just verified zoning, it's commercial, local commercial, it is definitely not residential.
If this is a use variance, it could be appealed potentially to this body, so no one should be commenting on the application. As could create a house.
No one has made an application to change the zoning. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Next time we're hearing it.
There are a couple of different ways that someone could get the ability to use a piece of property that is currently not zoned. This body would only rule upon a zoning ordinance to do it. Other than that, they can make an application.
Planning board for this body, this,
This
who makes
does
the
the,
decision?
the zoning,
Council or the,
hear me. The zoning ordinance is ruled upon by this body. If it's a use variance, then it's gonna be decided by the land use board in its zoning board capacity. Okay? So your comments would be more appropriately addressed to them, it seems to me.
okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Crystal Passer at 310 North 20th Street. I see at least that this is hopefully going to get addressed.
Could you speak up, please?
Sure, of course I can for you.
Thank you.
But only for you, no one else. So the stormwater drainage and the sewer lines, basically in front of my home, it becomes a
Where do
flash.
you live? I'm sorry. I didn't-
310 North 20th Street. So, North 310 North 20th Street. Anytime it rains, it becomes a flash flood situation. And this has gone on for years. Now on Sheridan Ave, 22nd Street, down to 17th Street, those are the only storm drains on Sheridan Ave. So all the water from the 200s on 20th Street and the 300s, all that water only has 3 drains to go to at the bottom of where I live. Whereas Upsala and Via Vital, just those two pretty much streets alone, have 4 storm drains. So there definitely needs to be more storm drains added. Now additionally, you have the added fact that now the streets nearby have become one-ways. So now you have a bottleneck situation going on where all the drivers are now driving fast, especially down my street too. Now when it rains, it creates a wake. When it creates a wake, all that water is going someplace and it's going into my house. So I want to bring up those 2 issues. So like I said, I see that at least it's on the agenda to hopefully get worked on. I don't know what your timeline is for it, but I also wanted to bring up the fact that this has been an ongoing issue and it's a big problem on a regular basis, literally anytime it rains. I have been saving for the past year pictures on my phone of how bad the flooding gets. It's so bad where if it rains, the town should automatically just close the streets.
This is the first
Is it a
time.
flood zone?
Really?
Is it a flood
Oh,
zone?
no, it absolutely is not a flood zone.
We have to
I
test it.
know.
We go around. We're testing on the engineer. Have to take a look.
I know, apparently they stopped by the other day, they looked up to drains. I know that my father has called up numerous times, because the house has been in my family now for 4 generations. The only reason why it doesn't have more storm drains is because based upon when the property was built, most likely. But it has always had an issue with flooding, and it's not in a flood zone at all.
So you said an engineer or somebody came by to look at it?
Now, I was not home, my neighbor said, so we came, they were looking at the storm drains, checking them out. I know that the engineer was having people come out in the next couple days, because my father had called, maybe had spoken with you or whoever. Pretty much he's my person who, he has nothing else to do, he can call, I can't call.
I think our DPW superintendent's gonna add something to this. Yes?
Yeah, so, I need to use my point. Oh, it's Kim in here. So she's right, we were out there, earlier this week, Roselle Park, lends us their sewer camera truck. We're able to scope all the pipes going from 22nd Street on the 400 block area, because that's a lower grade than where she lives. So all the water comes from her, goes down there, but if it backs up there, it affects her. So there might be some minor underlying issues. I have to confer with the township engineer first. I don't want to make any assumptions right now, but we did take pictures, and we're going to defer them to him and get his professional opinion on how to rectify the situation, and we'll be in touch with that. But we hope it's a simple fix, but I can't make any promises right now. We literally just got all the information together this week. Okay?
Good, thank you.
Great, thanks, Brett.
Thank you for working on that.
Thank you. But additionally, there's not a lot of storm drains in general, so if you add more storm drains, you have more access points as well too. So I'm just throwing that out there. Because I know at one point in time, there was another storm drain, and then when construction got done, it got filled in. And I'm talking about like, this probably was 20 years ago.
That also is an engineer.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Thank you, we'll work on it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Say my 2 cents.
John Zimmerman, 26 North 7th Street, Kenilworth, New Jersey. Thank you for allowing me a chance to talk to you, Mayor and Council. My beef is with transportation for Kenilworth seniors. Now, we have the Arlington Express, which is used to transport people around town. However, I've been told that it has only a 12-mile radius, that it can only travel away from within Kenilworth and the outskirts. Now, there was another van which was donated by the Union County for senior transportation, and I believe it is being used by the Kenilworth Sanitation Department. Now, I was wondering if it's possible for us to get the use of those vehicles for within the state of New Jersey, however, further than 12 miles, for transportation to places like the Huntington Hills Playhouse, the boat that goes out of Tom's River, and over to Clifton, where there's another theater, a show theater, and making it available, because Kenilworth seniors cannot afford a $1,500 bus, to rent the bus for $1,500. And a 10 or a 12 passenger vehicle would be within our range. This one here, if we have to pay for the gas or pay for the driver, I think it would be within our realm that we can afford that. So, does anybody have any information as to what's going on with the 12-mile radius for the Kenilworth senior bus?
Did you say the club or the senior center?
I'm saying the senior center.
Oh, okay. We did address this in the, I don't know if everyone remembers, in the policies and procedures. We had talked about how far we wanted it to travel, but we did have, and I don't remember the exact verbiage, but I believe there was a clause in there that if we had exceptions trips or things like that sponsored by the center, you can travel further. The right place to make that. Now, you have to keep in mind that we also have a budget for our senior drivers and for trips that are outside of the normal trips to and from within Kenilworth. Requests can be made through the senior director, and I will definitely follow up in the procedures and policies, because I don't remember exactly how we laid it out in the end. But I believe those requests are supposed to go through the senior director, and then she will look at, based on scheduling of trips, availability, funding, that we can, have the funds available to pay the drivers when we could do it, because it would be off hours. So, I would make the request and then work with Shirley on that. And Shirley, I think it's in the procedures guide. I can look where exactly we left off. I don't remember what was allowed.
Thank you for addressing that.
We do have 2 senior buses that is available, and it's mechanically sound. We checked it out last year. The only thing is that the rear AC didn't work. Greg, but I don't know if the mechanic ever got around to seeing if that was worthy to fix. But 9 months,
The
you could
parts
use it
are
if you had to.
The parts are almost impossible to get a hold of.
All right, so.
It needs a whole new AC system,
All right.
if you will. And
No rear AC.
with the age of the bus, you're better off, it's an early 2000, you're better off just getting a new bus if you can.
But I think the issue isn't necessarily that we have 2 buses. It really was other than that. It was that bus is intended. We have one in use because it's intended for trips throughout. It has 10 hours that it runs, that we have the driver scheduled, and it runs throughout the borough, and by appointment within those hours. It's really not a matter of we need a second bus. It's a matter of having the availability of a driver, the funding, and when I keep saying funding, it's because most of the money that funds the senior activities comes from the CDBG grant that we have, so it's a set amount of funds that she gets every year for these purposes, and so she plans out her activities based on what she has available, so we just have to coordinate. And Shirley is the right person to talk to, and then she can take your request and then look into it.
Okay, I'm not talking about a second bus, I'm talking about
Right,
the
the
van
buses you understand.
that is
Right.
being, that is used by the Kenilworth Sanitation Department. That was originally, had a sign on the side, Kenilworth Seniors, or Union County Seniors on the Move. And the name was taken off the side of the bus, the van, and now it's being used by the sanitation department. I don't blame them, I like the sanitation department to
You
use
know
it,
what, Greg
but
and I
also-
will talk on that.
but also make it
We'll
available
see
for
that.
Kenilworth seniors. Thank you.
Now, that bus has the lift too, because some seniors, when I was on the chair, they asked for that. And it's mechanically sound, they can't get up the stairs, they cannot attend the senior center, so we have that. I mean, I guess it's very hot out, you can't use it, you'd be hot in there, because the rear AC isn't functional, but.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah,
the van, I'm not talking about the bus. I'm talking about the van.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you are?
It has a lift if you have a wheelchair or something, the Harrington bus does not. So seniors were complaining, and I checked it out, that's why I checked it out, it's parked at the DPW. I don't think you guys use it for anything.
It's a spare.
Yeah, it's just there, so it just sits there, it's mechanically sound,
Yeah,
like I said.
but there's 3 vehicles. There's a Kenilworth, there's an Arlington Express, there's that other bus that sits in the sanitation department lot, and then there is a 12-passenger van, which probably you're not aware
Which one did we check out, was it the van? I thought it was a van.
So what he's referring to is a 17-passenger Chevy Express van.
Oh.
It looks like a regular van, not a bus. And it is in our motor pool, and it's used periodically by DPW for transporting more than 2 people at a time to one location. And that's it. If this town wants the senior center to use it, by all means, they're welcome to it.
Yeah, we checked out, we had, it was a Ford, right? We checked out.
Sorry?
The vehicle we checked out last year with the lift was a Ford, right?
of. Okay, I thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Have a good.
Because they have trouble waiting to see the
is there a motion to close the floor for public discussion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have some work session, items to discuss, the, camping ordinance.
Yeah, rec fires.
I mean, I think we're gonna be the most regulated little barrel in the state of New Jersey. Like every single meeting, there's ordinances with restrictions, but, I don't necessarily, I wasn't really sure where that came from, but, I definitely don't wanna take away the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and civic organizations' ability to camp. I camped in Kenilworth when I was a Girl Scout once, at the recreation department. I know sometimes schools have fundraisers where they have camping, the kids pitch tents on the lawns and on the school property. So, you know, I mean, I didn't really feel that it was really necessary to address this issue, but if we're going to, I want to at least allow and have the ability for, our organizations in Kenilworth to be able to, if they ever want to, be able to camp.
Yeah, I think that's in it. There wasn't room for a session.
It wasn't initially, there was nothing in there initially, it was just basically banned
What
camping.
prompted
The councilman brought up, in other areas of the country where they have encampments, which prompted this ordinance to be written.
Yes, San Francisco, see it on the news all the time.
So,
Keep it out of Kenilworth, absolutely.
so,
That's the spirit of it, not the Boy Scouts.
right, well, that's, when it first came across, it was not, there were no clauses to allow anyone to camp at all, so that's why I want to talk about it.
So as it was articulated to me,
Right.
and as we strive to provide what was asked for, it was a concern with, you know, these tent cities and encampments. This was circulated for comment, and Mayor, you brought up the concern with respect to some of your civic organizations, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, things of that nature, and utilizing parklands or maybe having a special day on a school property. So the ordinance itself is really broken down into two areas. One that deals with sidewalks, streets, alleys, doorways, which is really what the camping concern would be. I would think that that's not what your component or your
Right.
concern is.
Right.
Your concern is having sanctioned camping events. So there is an exception here for the council to pass a resolution to exempt and provide the ability. We could do it that way, or we could try to draft, and that would only be.
And I also don't think that this should include the school property, they should have their own rules and regulations regarding their property.
Like St. Teresa's, but.
And then we also have a public, private school as well. So that was, basically though, this ordinance was addressing public, right, borough-owned
Yeah, it's a
property,
prevention.
so the
Well,
school.
it's utilizing the terminology of public property, which I do not think, unless it's defined as ordinance, is legal.
Now, does that work with the private school, that would not be public property? Like the
That's,
parking
yeah, that's
lot?
not private.
Not private.
So, I mean, theoretically, public property isn't defined. So then I think you need to make a decision. Do you want this to also apply to schools, for which the governing body still can make an exemption by way of resolution? Or do you want to let the schools do whatever they want? Now, if you're concerned about campus, if that's what the concern about this is in the tent city, I would suggest that you want it to apply to the public schools as well, because if you exempt them, you're gonna have an issue with how you want to address it. Whether or not the code is going to give the police adequate remedies as it is, or if this ordinance would give more immediate rights to them, and I would suggest that it does. So my suggestion would be, if you're concerned about encampments in tent cities, they're just as likely to pop up on a school property as they are a borough property of size. I think that we understand we want to not have these tent cities pop up on streets and alleyways and things like that. But we're talking about the larger properties that would be like town hall, municipal parking lots, schoolyards, or even parks. You don't want an encampment for a tent city popping up in a park, and that's what's been happening in New York City. If philosophically you're not opposed to that, then we could address it, but the core of this ordinance is geared to address that, and there's at least a unanimous consent to proceed in that regard. Then we could provide an exemption by resolution. If you want to exempt school property outright, I could define public property to only include property that's owned, controlled by the borough. Just give you guidance.
Again, include school property, but we definitely want to exempt, Boy Scouts, all of that kind of stuff. We're not, make sure there's exemption for that. I was looking for where it was, I don't know if it has to come before council each time or not.
Well, you know,
Can we, the councilwoman has been trying to speak for
That's-
a little bit of time.
Okay.
No,
No, go ahead.
ladies first, please go.
Thank you. So I have two questions. So you're saying by ordinance, so if somebody, the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whatever, want to have a camping trip on the lawn at Demario, they'd have to come, we have to write a resolution, we have to, so there's an expense and a whole procedure to allow them to have their kids camp out at Demario Park.
well, and
Is that-
the expense isn't really dramatic. It would be like a call or a letter to the administrator and drafting a resolution to authorize it.
And who drafts the resolution?
She should draft.
Because I'm concerned about, with all due respect, attorney fees. The other question is, if you say all public property, which would include the school, and say Teresa's decides to let 50 people open an encampment in their private parking lot, they can do that. That's their parking lot. Correct?
Then you're gonna end up having a zoning remedy, and you'd end up having a little bit
Right, so,
longer of a process to address, but you could address it.
We just put the blanket Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, exempt.
well, you can't just
They
say
don't
Boy
have to come
Scouts
every
and Girl
time.
Scouts. What if social concerns wants to have 50 seniors
Then
camp
they'll have to
out?
come before the
It's
council.
just,
Don't worry, I'm not gonna
can't
do
carve
that.
out
We might, we never know.
organizations that you would give a blanket okay to, and then not do that for everybody. That's what that danger is.
If I may.
Right. Yes.
In respect to the schools, the majority of what you're seeing in other major cities, these major campuses have their own police department. We police our schools. So keep that in mind when you're making a decision. We're the ones who are providing safety for the teachers, the students, and we'll be the ones responding if there is a problem. If there is an encampment of some sort of thing like that, we will be the people responding. It's not like these major universities have their own campus police, so just keep that in mind when you're just wanted to remind you about that.
Thank you, Chief.
So keep that in mind, thank you. And as for the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts, my son and other kids have been camping out for years. Allowing somebody, a civic organization in town, the ability to camp out in front of the church, like they've
Right.
done, or Demario Park, it's not, we're not asking for much. This is a civic organization.
Like relay
It gives
for
back
life.
to
How
the
would that be
community.
like a-
Right.
right, I mean, every time somebody wants to do something, they have to come before council, make sure it's passed, and just think we're getting
if there's an easier way to do it,
I mean, we
think that would be this.
No, no, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
And I don't see any town
Can I,
have this
can
ordinance.
I ask how this ordinance even came to be?
Councilwoman
It's
Sterling.
my idea, it's my idea, I'm the sponsor.
But-
So, Mark, is there a way
So you just
to-
called the attorney and told him to write an ordinance, so you encourage that for the borough?
I guess so. Anyway,
So
it's
you're
the
worried
borough's
about where the
business.
money's being spent for the library and a few other things, but now you encourage
Well, we
this
spend a
fee.
lot of money on a lot of things. I don't-
Right, but now you
Like
made a
all
choice
church.
to just go
Anyway,
and call the borough
well, you could do the
attorney
same
and write an
As a
ordinance.
council person.
I wouldn't do that though, without
Good for you.
conferring with either
Anyway,
the borough
Mark, is there
administrator
a
or
way
the
to-
mayor, before I spent money. on
Without
the
going
borough.
through all this, obstacles with the Boy Scouts, because that was not my town. Or these other, I never seen anyone camping myself, so.
No,
I guess we do.
I would strongly advise against making an exemption for named organizations. I think that there is a process for the council to exempt organizations. I think that we probably could.
Could they do that like a year in advance, with a calendar, so it's not like constant? You're just looking for an easier way out.
Well, you can't
We
have
don't
them
want to
setting up
harass
to
those.
live there, that's different. I think that I would suggest against that because, let me explain why. I think there's a practicality about it. I understand for ease of the administration, you're suggesting that. But even if we put that in, if the Boy Scouts or a Cub Scout pack decided in April they wanted to do it for the summer, they're gonna still make the request, and we're probably still gonna consider it, and then we're dealing with it at two different times. Or we may end up passing resolutions for people that are putting a request in just to reserve the right, and they may never follow through with it. So I would suggest that we handle it this way. It obviously stands to reason that they have to make the request in time and have it heard and receive action by the governing body before their event.
That doesn't have to be read twice or something.
I'm sorry?
It's a resolution, it just goes one time.
One time.
No, it'll
Correct.
take 2 meetings like.
Correct. And we could end up making that the special event would be for civic-minded organizations located in the county. Is a suggestion that I would make to tighten that up.
Yeah, the intent was not to harass the Boy Scouts, but other organizations.
I don't think that that's harassing. I mean.
Well, I meant, make more work, or to prevent them, to create obstacles for them, that's not the intent.
I understand, but if you want to put a regulation in and you don't want it to apply, and you want to have a carve out, this is the only way I can think of doing
All
a
right,
carve
well,
out.
you're-
Unless someone has a different suggestion, I mean, I'm game.
Whatever's easiest, but,
So if it's the governing body's pleasure, I can make that revision and have this in time for the next meeting.
yeah, definitely make that revision.
Is everyone in agreement?
I'm not in agreement with the whole resolution, the whole ordinance.
I'm in agreement with it. I'm not for 10 cities and putting the burden on our borough to take care of that, or police department being in that position at one time.
Safety of children and stuff.
Does any
But I am in agreement to allow.
Does anybody
This
know
section
any community around us, and I'm not comparing us to New York City and San Francisco, that has an ordinance like this? Because I never even heard of it before. I mean, we're little towns, and I just don't know that we need to spend money on things like this. I just don't.
You don't have to.
I don't,
Compare other
I'm
towns.
just asking you, I'm not being
No, I didn't look up
confrontational.
other towns.
I mean, Cranford, I know the Girl Scouts and whatnot camp all the time. I see it in
It's not
Hanson Park
against
all the time.
Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, it's against the
Oh,
sign of the times. Unfortunately, it was necessary. I want to give the police department and the tools if necessary.
I'm
Hopefully, it
sure
never has
there's
to be.
laws on the
active.
books as far as vagrancy and all of that.
I don't know.
We have to
You have enough
secure
on the books?
the ordinance.
I don't imagine, I can't mention everything without going through and see what actually is on the.
My understanding was not, it was enough for
There's a lot
the
of
streets,
communities.
there was nothing required for, if someone wants to block streets and create havoc. That, there's not enough on the books, to my understanding, but it was not enough. This was a hole that could be exploited, so do it before it be proactive.
A hole in the books for the police department?
No, a hole that, there was nothing to prevent someone taking up residence. I heard it was somebody in Black Brook, West County, I haven't checked it out myself, but somebody had told me that. They got a target or something there, I don't know. You don't know who they are, but, you know, could be fugitives from justice. I would, I don't like that. I wouldn't want people just camping out.
There was definitely something up there last morning, there was.
Was there?
A tent, there was blankets and everything.
Really? So there we go, got a little sample. Anyway, put it to a vote.
Well, we're
Well,
not
I think
voting on it
it's a-
tonight.
I know, I'm saying.
I mean,
vote
at
up
every
and
single
that's it.
meeting, we introduce so many ordinances, and it's
Now,
costing
we're
a
here
fortune.
to, the good and well-being of
But it's-
Kenilworth.
No, I think you're over-regulating. You're worried about
Well,
what
they
you
got
can
recreation
and can't.
fires, they
Can't
want
have
Bird.
volleyball courts, can't have this, can't have a skateboard ramp.
Yeah.
No, I'm nothing to do with skateboard.
Okay.
Well, that was an ordinance, it was,
That
it
was
was
old.
one of those. No, that was in there.
That has nothing to do with, besides wasting borough money. Anyway, never got the answer for $18 oil filter. You look through that bill,
What's it,
$81 for a regular truck oil filter.
When was the last time you bought a truck filter? That's cheap.
A regular truck filter, you go right to Walmart.
All right, let's
$5
stay on
bucks.
track here, okay.
I do
So,
not manage
so
here.
I guess basically, the question on the table is, are we having the borough attorney draft another ordinance, which I think will be draft number 3, for camping? He needs direction for banning camping.
Yeah, you're gonna simplify it. Whatever amendment we talked about, making it easier for them.
I don't know, how do we vote? I'm voting no for the whole thing.
Okay. I guess you can finish it up.
We'll vote tonight, or?
No, give direction. You are giving direction. I'm not in favor of it on myself. I'm trying to save money.
I mean, I think that there's 3 council people indicating that they would like to at least see it revised to reflect that authorization, that exemption. It's not gonna take you long, it's gonna take you a point one to do it. We'll get it done, and then you can vote on it at the next meeting.
So who's the 3? There's, Pat also?
Yeah, I don't have any,
Okay.
you know, if it's okay for Relay for Life to do their thing if they do it again, and
Yeah.
Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and
They
everything
should
like that.
definitely
Maybe we could put something in about you can't live in the park with a tent. I mean, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want my kids in the park with some random adults just having to be camping out there.
Fugitives from justice.
Could be. You don't know. That's the question. You don't know. You wanna go there?
I did think about, and that's a very good idea, that Councilman just mentioned. I did think about it, but I also know the games that humans play. Right, they're gonna relocate in a different park, and they're gonna claim that the clock is reset, and then we're gonna end up arguing over what the duration really was. So I agree, kudos to you for thinking of that, and we did debate it, and it could be circumvented by someone that has the intent to break the law.
I mean, honestly, we could sit here and think about every single possible scenario and create an ordinance and that exists. I mean, I've been sitting up here for 5 years and it's staggering the amount of ordinances that are introduced at every single meeting. I mean, I never experienced this before, this to this extreme. I mean, we could go and pick apart every single policy we have and rewrite it and redo it and change it. And, you know, I mean, it's at a big expense. It's a big expense to the borough, a big expense to all of us, the taxpayers. I mean, we don't even
So
have,
the
we're
lawsuits
addressing
and
issues
everything
that we
else.
don't even have. We don't even have this issue going on. I mean, listen,
Maybe
I'm
people
not,
in
if,
the borough might disagree, there's a good amount that are concerned.
and if, listen, I'm not gonna, you know, if this is, I'm putting my opinion out like you did as well, and that's my opinion. However, the governing body wants to move forward with it, they can.
Go forward, put it to a vote. Vote gets voted down.
Well, the
on
problem
Thursday.
is that we have to spend money to put it forward, but I guess that's what's gonna happen.
I guess so. I think it's money well spent. Anyway, want to move on to rec fires. Another was recommended by the fire department. Only John has commented on it.
What is that?
The recreational
rec-
fires.
recreational fires.
Recreational fire.
Did anyone ever, I got a copy, so that means, Angela, did everyone get this?
Yeah,
Because I had something from the
yeah,
copy.
it's emailed in the
I
agenda.
haven't, that's the one I have not seen an updated one. That's the one we talked about
We
recently.
didn't do an
I-
update. I thought that
yeah.
we were gonna discuss this in September, and then I was gonna have direction as to, what the update
So
was.
people will not be allowed to have fire pits?
No.
I will say this was driven, I will say because he came to me. So Carmen Giordano came to me, came to me and raised the concern. He had a number of calls that they don't have any jurisdiction to do anything about. And so that is where this one came from. The ordinance drafting did not go to Mark to draft from scratch. We used another towns to draft. There will be modifications possibly, depending
So
on
is
what
this
they
gonna
were.
be, gas fires?
This
Fire
fires?
pits.
Fire pits,
Well,
he
what about
burning of
chimney?
rubbish. Now, the issue it was meant to get was, burning garbage. There's nothing that he can do if someone's burning garbage, and there's huge amounts of smokes coming into your, and so it was based on the fire code, and
Yeah,
just
I mean,
so
well,
you-
burning garbage and having a chimney are two completely different.
The difference being the uniform fire code does not apply to single-family homes or owner-occupied two families. That's the problem. It's already in force to, say, rentals and other structures. Am I right, Chief?
It's more of a question for fire prevention.
Okay, that's what Carmen says.
I'm
Yeah.
Sorry.
He just wanted to be.
I mean, I wish some of this
So
stuff could go
you
to vote to
technically-
the public. The public can decide whether, I mean, we're gonna tell people you can't have a chimney now.
No,
I
they
will
didn't
say
say
that wasn't
Yeah.
his intent, and I spoke to
I
Carmen
understand that,
before
but
he
this
came
is
to me.
what, we're saying we're gonna ban fire pits, so.
No, we're
if
not banning fire
No,
pits.
no.
That's what I'm saying, you didn't mention.
You're restricting the location of them, from what I recall. And again, I apologize,
Well-
I didn't think we're discussing this.
All right,
one
we
this
can
What do you
evening.
mean restricting
I thought-
the location?
You can't put it on the property line or next to a structure. There was somebody that had it right on the fence line.
So what would be the requirement?
Well, the fire
5
code
feet,
has
10 feet?
15 feet, but I said there's not enough, some properties don't have that, so it obviously would be the most central location you could, you know. The big thing is that Carmen says you could not order anyone to put out a fire. That was the point. And you go, this is all uniform fire code according to Carmen. With the exception of burning after midnight, which we will, I'll take out, we don't need that. Carmen agreed. So this came from Carmen, this is what he wanted. I added my, because I'm trying to find the balance between you being able to have a recreational fire on your property, and also your neighbor, if you have any considerate neighbor burning stuff or smoking you out. So we're trying to find that balance. We do not want someone just walking in the backyard to take measures. So unless you obviously see flames or huge billowing clouds, you do not just come onto the property. It would have to
Probably
be,
received a complaint.
yeah, you have to wait till you see a complaint. It's not something you just go and looking around for trouble. I would not want that at all.
Excuse me, just so you know, we're the ones who get the call. Before the fire department even responds, you get the call, whether it's a 911 or a house line call, somebody's complaining, whether it's open burning, or or a resident is burning something other than firewood or something that's supposed to be combusting, what's supposed to,
So now I can
is
speak.
that I call him?
So can't we say that if you have a fire pit or chimney, it has to be in an approved,
We are saying that.
and, I mean, to tell people where they can and can't have it on their property, I think that's
Well,
hard.
That's not difficult, because we have had calls where people actually, believe it or not, have had a wood burning fireplace on top of their wood deck. So,
Think about it.
yeah, so there has to
Think
be
about it, there has to be
a
something.
little bit of restriction, but I don't think it needs.
I mean, I think people shouldn't be burning garbage, people shouldn't be burning things. People have a fire that's smoking, they should be.
But right now, they can.
Right.
There was a guy burning bread or something.
Used to have guys burn bread. What do you do about it?
And he's passed away several
Police,
years
the guy
ago,
used
we
to
used to
burn
get
bread,
calls
all
all
the,
the time.
all the, you get all the leftover bread in town.
He used to for fertilizer.
And he
for
would,
his plants.
and he would burn it, use it for fertilizer,
And
and
it
all his
would look
neighbors
like-
would complain.
It was
"No,
smoke
there's
out
nothing we
all
can
the
do
It would
about
look like a house fire when you turn onto the
It
street.
looked like a house fire. That's
Yeah, I
right.
think you guys responded a number of times.
Numerous
About
And there was no
64
enforcement
times.
to what, that all the people
64.
say, I'm not letting it out.
That's what I thought it was all about. It was all about the fire department being able to.
Do something.
Investigate.
Take some
All
kind of.
right, so let's write this in a way
action.
that gives the residents the right to have an approved fire pit, chimney,
I can make
That they can
photocopies,
make,
more photocopies,
you know,
Angela can make a.
and then, it has to, they can only
Mark,
burn.
you can send it to Angela, she can send it out.
I have the original one unless it's changed. That's my understanding, so.
I didn't change it at all.
And I will tell you where it came from was, Carmen is also in Cranford, he said lots of towns have one. He said, take that, I started with the Cranford version, so it didn't even, sorry, Mark, but Mark didn't have to draft it up.
No, the only thing we did was
I
put the right
took-
numbers on
right,
so it fit in the code.
Right, so
And we made it more
he
lenient.
drafted, and
After
what,
midnight,
right,
yeah.
what we can do is, he's like, it doesn't have to be this exactly. Theirs was based on the fire code, the uniform fire code. He said, let's put this out, and that can be modified. He wasn't, the intent was, when he's had these calls, I know he said, I did 3 this year, he's like, I couldn't do anything.
I
I
understand.
went, and I can't even issue a fine. And so that's why, and I'm telling you, because he came to me, and that's what caused me to send it out to all of you, because he's like, can we do something to allow me to respond? So he wasn't saying it has to be what was drafted in there, he's saying, use this as a shell, as a starting point, and then put in your feedback.
And the fire
And so-
committee, we did that, right? I mean, you sent it out.
Yeah, I met with Carmen a couple of times, I had my concerns, he says, the problem is, this is the uniform fire code, so we changed 15 feet, I wanted to change that, make that, he goes, you can't, because then, you're changing the uniform fire code, and now, legally, that's, for you to change the code. You made the code, or weakened the code, that could be a problem for the borough. So what I did, we added, if you don't have that space, which some lots do not, you don't have 15 feet from every structure. But unfortunately, our yards aren't that big. So then he said we could add that, are obviously the most central place. Again, it's only for a few people that, I don't know, one guy was burning right on a fence line or something.
But is this fire code, according to him, something we're mandated to follow, or is it something built? And
No, well, it is.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you're using the word code, if it's based upon some safety factors,
Yes, it is.
just because you can't comply doesn't mean that it's safe, right? So, I'm trying to think of an example, but if the building code didn't permit you to do certain electrical wiring inside your house because it wasn't safe, just because it's hard for you to comply doesn't mean that all of a sudden you have an exemption. So, I need to know that that's an exemption, or I need to have a conversation with him to the extent to figure out that his latitude isn't something that's violating state statute. Was he claiming that we were mandated to do this? Or is he just?
No,
He was just asking us to emulate regulations that apply to certain houses to all houses.
Exactly.
Yes.
It already applies to certain.
It already
houses.
does apply,
That's
but
right.
like I said, it
But
did
when the
not
police go
apply.
there or he goes there, their hands are tied. And there's nothing they can do for relief for the neighbors that are suffering from the consequences.
So to that extent, Mayor, if I could suggest that if anyone sees anything that's in this code that they find offensive, email me and I'll try to figure out a way that I can delete it,
Okay.
make it less onerous. I know that John had some suggestions, so I will now incorporate them, and if anyone else who, council will have, if you have other comments, let me know, and I'll get them.
Yeah, I have a copy of it. I call it the second draft of John's recommendation. I thought everyone had already seen this. I can make sure I email it to everyone. And I'll resend it to you and,
Yeah, you can please.
polish it up and everyone can obviously look
Yeah.
at it and obviously for, John plus something, it was pretty good, so yeah, you can take a look at it. But again, Carmen says, there are some people, instead of, they want to burn their construction stuff or whatever. And you really shouldn't because it's toxic fumes, pressure treated wood.
Okay. All right,
So
so you
that's-
send that out to everyone?
So, I'll do that. One other question. I know we talked about the senior freeze, I just want to have from Ken. With the increasing taxes we're getting hit with, there are seniors that are renting, and I don't know if we can.
The anchor program should help them, right? I think you can
They
apply
get
as a
something.
renter from the anchor.
I don't know if it keeps up with it. With the rental increase, they might get a one-time, say,
It's once a year, I think, the anchor.
yeah. But again, I was thinking,
That letter just
the
came out.
property tax freeze for seniors doesn't help renters. And I don't know if we can do that, like if there was an agreement made with the landlord, will freeze, he agrees to freeze the rent, if you agree to freeze, because there's seniors living there. Because that's the main driver to increase the rent.
It is, but it is statutory, and the statute makes it dependent upon the owner of the house being senior. So that's the only reason
There's no
why.
way to help the renters?
I could look into it, I'm not aware of it. Tax appeal counsel would probably know more efficiently than me.
Who know more efficiently?
Your tax appeal attorney.
Oh.
If you like, I can send them an email and ask them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe you wanna start with Kevin? Would he be able, that's where I would start, Kevin and the assessor.
Let's.
Oh, okay.
I would start
Okay.
with him.
I'll talk with him.
You can email him, but he's physically here Tuesday nights.
Yeah, Tuesday nights.
from-
All right, I'll reach out to him Tuesday. I'll
I
see
think
him.
he's the right person.
And I'll talk to him and see if there's anything we can do to give renting seniors relief.
I know that if a senior owns a two-family house and lives there, they're eligible.
Yeah.
I don't think it affects tenants, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right, I'll talk with him and see what, if there's anything we can do. I'll bring that back to council. Whatever, production. Conversation.
Okay,
That'll be it.
thank you. Okay, I hope everyone has a wonderful Labor Day. Enjoy it.
Don't forget about the fireworks on the 4th.
Yeah,
On
the
the
third.
3rd.
We have the National Night Out, we have fireworks, we have a lot of good stuff coming up. Free transportation on Labor Day weekend for any mass transit. Okay. I'd like a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.